Chinese diesel heaters, they're awesome. One major fault with them is they have a thermostat built in. If you set it to a temperature, when it gets to that temperature, it won't shut off. It'll just go down to the lowest setting, but it'll continue to run and run and run. So it could be 100 degrees and it'll still keep running. So you're wasting fuel, you're heating when you don't want heat. So there's a solution to that, the Bureck thermostat. Let's go over this together and we'll show how this will run efficiently using this thermostat so that it comes on at a desired temperature, shuts off at a desired temperature, goes through its cool down cycle as needed, and it warms your space just like you need. So before we get into it, let me just show you what I got going on here. This is my greenhouse I built. It's a hoop house. I have videos on that. I'll put the links to them in the description below on the whole build of this hoop house. I used a small kerosene heater in here before. I used propane butter heater before. The problem was that one stunk really bad, made a lot of soot in here, probably wasn't good for the plants, and the propane makes a lot of moisture and it's not that reliable and it's expensive to run. Diesel's the way to go. I use this the same unit I used in my ice fishing shanty, and I can utilize this in here, unhook it, and still take it fishing when it's fishing season. Let's go over what I did here. This is the combustion intake air hose. I have it run from the bottom up and out. I'll give you a view of that on the outside. And then the exhaust goes out and through the wall. I'll give you a view of that on the outside as well. This is adjustable pipe where the heat will blow out. Your cold air comes in from back here. It's hooked to a sealed AGM 100 amp hour battery down here on the floor, which I have hooked to a trickle charger right here, so it'll always charge. Now ideally I'm going to eventually have a small solar panel set up, so this will all run off solar and I don't even run a lead cord for that. Without the power, it will run for a couple days, no problem, but I just like to keep it maintained. I wouldn't want the power to go out, cause issues. So let's get into the thermostat. Real simple. Comes in a box just like this. There's two different models. One has a battery inside. One needs to be plugged into a 12-volt USB at all times to run. The battery one you can leave plugged in too. When it's not plugged in, they say it'll run for about 6 or 7 days before it needs a recharge. I'm going to hook it up to a battery pack, leave it on charge all the time. The instructions, you just scan this with your phone and you get all the instructions. So once it's fully charged, has an on off button on the side here, you just flip that up, give it a second to power up, and then your screen, I don't know if you can see that, hopefully, will show everything on there. It shows your temperatures and stuff. First thing you need to do is clone this to your Chinese diesel heater through the remote that came with your heater. In order to do that, you press the up and down simultaneously, and you'll enter a menu, settings menu, navigate down to clone remote, press OK. It'll say waiting on code. Then you take your diesel heater remote and you press on code received, wait for off code, off, success. Now on your thermostat, there'll be a top number that is the current temperature of the area. Mine is say it's 70 because I brought it in from the house where it was warm and I've been holding on to it. So that'll change when I set it down. Your bottom temperature, it's set at 69, and this is in Fahrenheit. You can change it to Celsius in the settings, but it's nice having Fahrenheit if that's what you use. But you use the up and down to change your desired temperature. So to test this out, I'm going to raise the temperature because the thermostat is saying 66 right now. It still has to cool down to the outside temperature here, but just for the purpose of this video, I will raise the inside temperature. I'm at 65 now, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. This should turn on the heater any second. And that just kicked on, so it's working. The diesel heater's just kicking on now. It's starting to blow the air fumes through it. And as you know, if you're familiar with these, they take a minute to go through their cycle to warm up the glow plugs, to ignite the fuel, and the fans start going and it runs. I'm just gonna let this sit out here. I'm not gonna put it right in front of it. I'll set it over here on this bench and I'm just going to let it go, and we'll come back in a little bit and see how it works. If it heats up to where I have it, shuts down like it's supposed to, and that should be it. It's that simple. Let's take a quick look outside. I'll show you how these pipes come out. So I have that non-crushable hose coming out, and what I did is I have the filter. I have this all in another video. I'll put the links to that stuff below too. But just to keep the rain and stuff out of it, I just punched a hole in a old coffee can, ran the hose up behind it, put it there, and just 2 screws comes right out, so I could take that all out after the heat is not needed any longer in the greenhouse. The exhaust, I just have it coming out a through hole right here, and that's it. Came out and it is reading 68 degrees. It's nice and toasty in here, and as you can hear, the heater is off, so the thermostat did its job. Just to test it out, I'll just bump this up a little bit higher. Coming on. Turn it down. Shuts off. This thing is awesome. What a great product if you own a diesel heater. This is going to be great for anybody that has a workshop, a greenhouse, a shed, off-grid cabin, anything where you're using the diesel heater where you want it to come on and off at a set temperature. This is the way to go. The Bureck thermostat. I'm going to drop a link down in the description. Heck, I'm going to take this thing when I go ice camping and I use my diesel heater. That way we don't have to get up in the night and fiddle with the settings to make it come on and off to make it warm if you're too cold, or turn it down if you're too warm. Just set the thermostat, forget it. Links down in the description. Check out Bureck. Thanks for watching. GoPro, stop recording.